What's up, guys? So it is February 21st, and even though there is still plenty of snow behind me on the ground, I am still gonna be planting a lot of my cold crops, and so I thought I should turn on the camera, take you guys along with me, so let's go inside and start planting it up. What's up, Pioneer family? So I am planting some seeds today, and I thought I should just open the camera, take out the camera, and just record it. Talk to you guys, plant some seeds, and yeah, if you guys like this video, let me know, and I will do a bunch more in the season of just kind of day-to-day things that I'm doing with gardening and planting and all that good stuff. Of course, there's going to be videos that I have a specific thing that I want to teach you guys, or there's going to be a lot of videos once the season starts of me interviewing people in the community that are doing awesome things with their community when it comes to community gardens and other nature things. Not just gardening, but other ways people are using nature to benefit their health and well-being. And there's going to be, a lot of those interviews, kind of podcast style interviews. But this one is just going to be me turning on the camera and showing you guys what I'm doing. It is February 21st when I'm recording this, and I'm going to have it uploaded the same day. So you guys can kind of just follow along. And yeah, if you guys like this kind of content, let me know. Let me know, and I will keep on doing this kind of just day-to-day content of planting. I will show you guys some behind the scenes of the business and what we're doing with the trade stations. And if you don't know about the trade stations, make sure to go check out our website, pioneergarden.com. You can become a host. These trade stations are basically just like little plant stands that you can host in front of your home, in front of your small business, church, organization, your school, and then you can get put up on our map, and people will trade plants, fresh produce, seeds, backyard chicken eggs, all that good stuff, house plants, houseplant cuttings. We've been doing this for a year in Louisville, Kentucky, but this season is the first season that we are expanding out of Louisville, and we want to get this mission and movement across the whole country. So if you want to be a host of a Pioneer Trade Station, you can go to our website, like I said, pioneergarden.com, and learn more. There's some YouTube videos on this channel as well about the mission and the movement and why growing as a community, why I think it's so important to grow with your community, and just how amazing it can be. And I really believe that. So there's some videos on this channel as well if you want to learn more. But this video, I'm just going to be planting up some stuff. So again, it's February 21st. There's snow outside. And yes, you can be planting, at least in my climate, you can be planting, because in a couple weeks, everything I'm planting, I'm going to be planting some spinach. I'm going to be planting some spinach. I have some kale that I'm going to be planting. I have some lettuce. And my favorite, I have some arugula that I'm going to be planting. And I also have some mustard. So I have some mustard I'm going to be planting, which I really like as well. Very spicy flavor on this mustard. This came from... What seed company did this come from? Fedco. Eventually we will have our own seed line, but we don't have that yet. So I have to talk about these other companies because we don't have ours yet. But one day we will have Pioneer Seeds. We will have it, hopefully sooner than later. But and then I might be planting some of this lettuce. This looks pretty good as well. So all these cold crops, man, you can plant in the cold. You can really plant these. A lot of these are frost tolerant. And as I'm doing this, I will tell you guys a story about cold crops and about how cold they can really get. First off, I'm going to take my soil medium that I'm using, and I'm just using peat moss mixed with a little bit of worm castings. Now, you don't need worm castings. The seed has everything it needs to start, all the nutritional value that a seed needs to germinate and grow for the first couple weeks is in the seed. I just happen to have a bunch of worms at my house. I have a worm farm. Actually, at my dad's house, I have a big worm farm, a little operation. So I have access to a lot of worm castings. So because I have them, I put them in this seed starting mix. But just light, fluffy, very well drainage seed starting mix. What I like to do, and this is a tip I've said in other videos, is pre-wet this. Get this damp before I put it in my container that I'm planting. It just makes it a lot easier, because once I plant, if I then try to go back and water it, the seeds would move. If it's super dry and you try to water, the water a lot of times with the peat moss will like ball up and not soak it will start pooling up because it's so dry. And I'm trying to think of the word that it means, like hydrophobic. I think hydrophobic, if it doesn't like water when it's super dry. So you gotta get it moist in order for it to take water. If you're a houseplant person, you know this. When your houseplants get super dry, if you just pour a bunch of water on there, it's not going to soak in super good. It's going to go on the sides, the pot maybe, just drain out. So yeah, just damp this before you put it in there, and your seeds won't move. It'll be easier to plant, all that good stuff. So I'm going to pre-moisten this with my water. Mix it around. Feels good that my hands are getting dirty. Spring is almost here, so I'm looking forward to it. Getting your hands dirty feels great, doesn't it? So, when we're planting, I will start telling you this story about cold crops. Last season, in 2024, I had planted some kale. So I had some kale and I put it in the ground in the fall. It was probably around October, November when I actually put it in the ground. And it was going to overwinter. Now, usually when you're doing that, you want to have some kind of greenhouse cover on it. So on your raised bed, or just make a little hoop that you can make with PVC. It's pretty easy. Just to make sure that if it obviously snows or it frosts, because that's where you're going to get into problems. So when I put these out in a couple weeks, if it does frost again, because there's definitely still a chance of frosting, if it snows again, I would just throw a greenhouse plastic on top of the raised bed over top of these guys. And if you don't have greenhouse plastic, you can just throw a sheet, like literally like a bed sheet, just that you don't use anymore, or something like that kind of material, just to make sure the snow doesn't get on it. And you can even make like a little hoop with some PVCs and some rebar, put the rebar in the ground, put this PVC pipe over it, just so the snow, doesn't actually get on the plant and a big old thing of, even though you have the protection of the sheet, if there's snow on top of it, you don't want that. So, yeah, that's how you usually do it, to protect it from the frost if there is. Last year, though, I did not do that, and I let this kale sit outside all winter, never put any plastic over top of it, greenhouse plastic or anything. It got snowed on, and ice. I think there was some ice last year even, and in the springtime around March, it started growing again, and I had the most beautiful, tender, sweet leaves of kale that I've ever had. And the snow that was laid on top of it for days didn't seem to affect it at all. I thought it would. I thought that much snow on it would kill it for sure, but a lot of these greens, a lot of your leafy greens are very, very frost tolerant. And so that just shows you that, again, I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend putting some kind of cover over it some greenhouse plastic so that it doesn't happen to you. But man, it was really good. It was super tender. It was super sweet. And so, I don't know. But, yeah, if you do have a greenhouse plastic, put it on. But you can plant these things, but my point is you can plant these things when it's very cold. A lot of these leafy greens can be planted when it's really cold, and most of them will taste better if it's growing in the cool weather versus the hot weather. And leafy greens are not really hot weather crops. They will bolt faster, go to seed, and it would be not as tender. And you want, obviously, the tenderness when you're eating it. So, yeah, give it a try. Plant when it's young. Plant when it's still cold. Not when it's young, but when it's still cold outside. And see what happens. I really think it's a good way to plant. And you get more food from your garden, right? You don't need to just have the summer crop. Have your early spring crop. Have your fall crop. And of course, you're going to have your summer harvest as well. But don't forget about the other seasons. Don't forget about early spring. Don't forget about fall. And don't forget that a lot of these plants, you can start super early because they can handle the cold. So how we're going to do this is we have this tray, and I'm probably just going to do a couple of different rows. I'm going to plant more because I'm going to give it, put some at my trade station for my community to come and get and trade with me. So I'm going to make a couple rows just with my finger. Just come in here and make some rows just like that. Just small rows. And then I'm going to take out my... And I have no idea how long this video is going to be. I'm just here talking with you guys, having a good time. And again, let me know if you like this kind of content, because if you guys do, I will start doing some of these just not really any point, not necessarily like a thing that I'm teaching, just talking and just doing it and just being real, right? So I'm gonna take these popsicle sticks and so I just don't remember, so I don't forget. Oh my goodness, forget how to talk. So I don't forget what I plant where, because in this tray I'm gonna plant like 4 or 5 different things, and I'm gonna plant them pretty close. And what I'm gonna do is once they start growing, I'm just gonna pluck them out and put them in something else. Probably at the time that I have to pluck these out in a couple weeks, I can just go ahead and put it in the ground. It's gonna be 50 degrees next week. These are cold weather crops, that's fine. And so when you're reading the back of a packaging, you know, and it says space it so much, that is true, but if you're gonna pick them out, if you're gonna pluck these things out, you can plant them way closer and then just pluck them out when they get, you know, when there's too many of them, when they start, yeah, when they start growing and there's too many and they're too crowded. That's the word I'm looking for, too crowded. So this is the spinach, which I really, really like. If you never had fresh spinach, if this is your first year growing, my goodness, having fresh spinach is so nice, so tender, so sweet. It's just beautiful. It's just gorgeous. And you can put it in your omelets. I love it in my omelets. That's what I do with it. So, boom. We just put in some spinach. Boom. So put it on there, and then I'm just gonna stick it in. So now we can do that with the other rows. I'm going to do a couple rows of mustard greens, and I'm gonna do a couple rows of, I think I probably need a couple more trays, because I'm gonna do kale, arugula, and mustard. So let's get some kale going on right now. Let's rip this pack open and plant some seeds. such a good feeling planting seeds. If you're a gardener, or even if you're not a gardener, I think it's just people like planting seeds, just human beings like evolved in us to like putting our hands in the dirt. I really think so. I think it's really good for you. So we're gonna plant some seeds, and again, like I plant these pretty close together, because I know that I'm going to pluck them out and just transplant them before they really overcrowd each other. It's really not as big of a deal to plant this close, and it's way more efficient because I don't have to use nearly as much space. And for home gardening and seed starting, efficiency is everything. So boom, there's the kale. I am going to plant a couple more things. Let's plant some mustard. And I would need, did I plant mustard? No, that was kale. Okay, so let's plant some mustard in this tray, and then I would just get another tray and do the same thing with my arugula, because I gotta plant arugula. If you've never had fresh arugula, you are missing out. I think it is super, super good. Boom. And we're gonna finish this tray off with mustard, even though it's probably my least favorite out of all of these. It's just so spicy, which is really cool. It is very nice. If you know how to, what do you guys do with mustard greens? I usually just, I don't know. I usually just grow it and not know exactly what to do with it. I know you can just like boil it or something like that, but if you have any good recipes for mustard greens, let me know. So then we're gonna write mustard. Mustard greens. And I'm just gonna keep this in a sunny area of my house. I'm gonna keep this in a sunny area, and then I'm gonna water. Keep it moist, right? Keep it moist. If you're new into starting seeds, it doesn't have to be tons of water on this because there's no roots yet. And so it's not taking up that much water, but you don't want it to dry out. You want it to signal that seed that, hey, there's enough water here, the environment is right for you guys to germinate. So just make sure that it doesn't dry out. You can get a spray bottle and just spray this, keep this sprayed every once a day, twice a day. Kind of depends on your climate. If you're in a dry climate and stuff is drying out faster, of course you need to put more water on it. Just make sure that it doesn't dry out. And once these pop, I will do another video of me transplanting them into the garden, guys. And yeah, let me know if you like this kind of video, because this is something that I might add to this channel of me just doing videos like that. Not really a necessarily having a one specific point, but just this is what I'm doing today. I'm planting seeds on February 21st. I want to hang out with you guys, and so I'm just making a video. So let me know if you guys like it. Yeah, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will see you guys in the garden spring 2025. If you don't know about the trade stations, go join the movement. You can go on our website and learn more. There's plenty of videos on here about the trade stations as well. But let's grow with our community. It's so much easier, and we can build our communities. We don't have to wait on anybody else. Let's build our own communities. Let's make them stronger. Let's make them healthier with healthy food grown insanely locally in your own communities. I will see you guys in the garden spring 2025. Keep on growing. Until next time, y'all have a good one.